Well, many thanks for making time to be with us this particular evening on the 13th of November 2023. It's exactly 9 p.m. Of course, we've prepared many stories for you. Top among them is the disappearance of Anne Njeri of Anne Imports and Exports, with now the Energy CS, that is Davis Churchill, saying that yes, Madam Njeri did go to his office, but he did not reveal the details of that particular meeting, even as the CS says that the consignment of fuel worth 17 billion shillings belongs to the Galana importation firm that was, of course, awarded or contracted to import fuel in the government-to-government deal. Now, apart from that, tonight, Brian Amwai will be telling us about the efforts being made by women and girls in trying to bridge the gap in the technological world. Now, many stories that we have for you tonight. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines. Remember, you can watch this particular bulletin live on our social media platforms, that is at Lookuptv on Facebook and YouTube. Let's begin the bulletin with the matters, the fuel importation saga, and the Kenya Ports Authority as today come out to refute claims suggesting that businesswoman who allegedly went missing allegedly after leaving the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters here in Nairobi, rather on Thursday last week, on allegations. Let's just take that again. And the Kenya Ports Authority has come out to refute claims suggesting that the businesswoman who allegedly went missing shortly after leaving the DCI offices along Kiambu Road on Thursday last week on the importation of the 100 metric tons of fuel worth 17 billion shillings. In a statement to the media, the authority dismissed the authenticity of the document used to allege the huge consignment of oil belongs to the missing businesswoman. Controversy continues to brew over the disappearance of Anne Njeri of Anne Imports and Exports, who is said to have reported to the Director of Criminal Investigations headquarters on Kiambu Road in Nairobi on Thursday to record a statement over the ownership of the oil sourced from Turkey. The businesswoman is said to have disappeared moments after obtaining court orders to stop some oil marketers from offloading 100,000 metric tons of fuel worth about 17 billion shillings.
If you saw what we have indicated there, we've shown the date when the ship arrived, and we've shown also, even though the ship waited, it didn't mean that there was any issue. However,
in a dramatic turn of events, Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director William RUTO has denied meeting the businesswoman or her ever setting foot at the port offices.
Sisi hatujawahi kuonana na mtu anaitwa Anne, na wala hajawahi kufika ofisi zetu za KPA kulaunch any complaint kwetu. Sababu kama mtu unajua meli imekuja bandari la Mombasa, shirika la KPA ndio inasimamia bandari la Mombasa. Ungekuja hapo ukatuelezea kuwa mimi niko na mzigo na tuangalie kweli kama mzigo ni wako. So hiyo mambo yani sisi hatujui wala hatujaonana naye, ni kitu tunasoma tu kwa social media. Labda nyinyi mkutana naye.
RUTO further disowned the bill of lading that Njeri is said to have signed twice, as the captain's signature is missing.
Hii ndio ile bill of lading yake, anasema this is the bill of lading she's saying. Ndio kweli. Bill of lading imesainiwa na shipa, huwa ni yeye. Carrier ni yeye. Sasa you can understand things that cannot add up. Number two, the correct document. This is the correct bill of lading. Captain ya meli ndio huwa ana sign bill of lading, lakini si wewe mwenyewe. Kwani wewe ulikuwa kwa meli ndio ukasign? Some of the things don't add up. So then when you see the stamp of the ship, it's quite different from what is indicated here. And there is no way. Maybe I will share with you so that you can just see the two different papers.
Their sentiments come even as Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill says that Anne Njeri visited his office. However, Churchill did not disclose the reason for Njeri's visit, while noting that the consignment was not hers, but belonged to Galana Energy, one of the companies contracted to import fuel in the government-to-government fuel deal. According to KPA chairperson Benjamin Tayari, the consignment had 93,460 tons and not 100,000 tons of fuel undocked in the port and offloaded between the 26th and 28th of September.
Mengine yako chini ya uchunguzi na hatujui yaliingiana kivipi. Yale ambayo sisi tunajua ni kwamba hii meli ilikuwa imebeba ule mzigo ambao tumewasomea hapa kwa lugha ya Kimombo, ambao zaidi ya nusu ilikuwa ni ya Armco na nyingine ni ya nchi jirani.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv. Saga that continues to unravel even as former Prime Minister Raila Odinga says that a few government officials are reaping big through commissions in the government-to-government fuel levy amid the review of fuel prices that is expected to happen tonight. Now, moving forward, President William Ruto on Monday led the tree planting exercise in Makueni County as the nation marks National Tree Planting Day. Ruto and his cabinet led the exercise in different parts of the country as the administration targets to plant at least 15 billion trees by the end of its tenure. President Ruto earlier on spoke at the United Nations office, in Gigiri, Nairobi, during the opening of the third session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on Ending Plastic Pollution, where he emphasized on the importance of greening the nation. After officially declaring Monday as a public holiday for planting trees across the country through the Cabinet Secretary of Internal Security Kpa Clarifies, the journey to 15 billion trees kicked off today as President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua launched the activity of planting more than 150,000 trees in Kiu wetland in Makindu, Makueni County.
This assignment of planting trees across Kenya is not about age, it's not about religion, it's not about party, it's not about the area you come from. It is about us as a nation and our future and the future of our environment and the future of our food security as a country.
The national was on a green future affair as other cabinet secretaries traveled far and wide, ensuring the whole nation muddled itself to save the future.
During this green holiday is the fact that conserving our environment is everybody's business.
This report, nimekupatia Your Excellency. This report was forwarded to me by CS Soipan about this wetland. It is the only source of clean water for us. Ile yangu na Governor Olelengu hatujakubaliana bado tunamenyana kiasi. Lazima uweke kidole ndio tunyoroshe hiyo maji ifike Makueni.
President Ruto and his deputy vowed to give planting of trees a priority so as to face the challenges of climate changes in the country by producing more seedlings and planting more trees.
All of us must work together in concert so that we protect our environment by doing the necessary, planting trees, preserving our wetlands, making sure that all water towers are protected, are fenced off.
CS Kindiki launched the national tree growing exercise in Garissa County, while more than 300,000 trees are expected to be planted in the northeastern region, with a goal of 100,000 trees in each county, namely Garissa, Mandera and Wajir. Each of the 441 chiefs in the region will oversee the process of planting and growing at least 680 trees in their areas.
This is going to be a culture in our country, and we want to say, as Ministry of Interior, we have directed our chiefs and our assistant chiefs under the supervision of their superiors to make sure that they inculcate the culture of tree planting, tree growing, so that we can save our country from the ravages of climate change, including drought and floods.
Kindiki, in company of Governor Nadif Jama, Principal Secretary for Administration of the National Police Service Bani Sialal Lemediket, Secretary National Administration Beverly Apora, and other officials of national and county government reiterated that the thorny issue of the climate change in the country is one among the 5 major security threats facing the nation, including terrorism, banditry, and livestock rustling, trade, use and abuse of illicit alcohol, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, and cultural, religious, and political extremism.
Climate change as a serious threat to our national security, and we have defined climate change as one of the 5 major security threats facing our country today.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Matters tree planting or growing, and as the country marks National Tree Planting Day, Cabinet secretaries, leaders and Kenyans at large took it upon themselves to secure the nation's future by planting trees with an aim of planting and growing the trees to President William Ruto's target of 15 billion by 2032. As Mervyn Getemena reports, Monday 13th was a green affair as Kenyans engaged in the activity that seeks to green the nation.
A nation on Monday woke up to plant trees for the future. The journey to a green nation that can stand the effects of climate change kick-started early Monday morning with President William Ruto calling it a working holiday. Kenyans marked the National Tree Planting Day with Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki leading Garissa residents in the exercise as Public Service CS Moses Kuria and the Governor of Nandi Stephen Sang led Nandi residents in the exercise, all stressing on the importance of planting trees.
Kwa hivyo tumesema ya kwamba machifu wote na manaibu wao katika Jamhuri ya Kenya wataendelea kuhusika na kuhamasisha wananchi katika kupanda miti katika kata zao na kata ndogo zao. This is going to be a culture in our country, and we want to say, as Ministry of Interior, we have directed our chiefs and our assistant chiefs under the supervision of their superiors.
Mwaka uliopita Kenya ilipoteza mifugo ya dola bilioni 1.8 katika mambo ya kiangazi. Tukiathirika na mambo ya ubadiliko ya hali ya anga, inaathiri sisi.
Ile shida tuko nayo hapa ni kwamba wakati tunafungua forest ambayo inafanyiwa timber harvesting happens, wale wanakuja kuharvest ni watu kutoka nje. Wananchi wa hapo ambao wako na interest na katika harvesting ya hiyo miti hawapewi nafasi. Sasa sisi tunachunga miti, tunachunga forest, alafu wakati ya kuharvest wenye wanakuja ni sawmillers kutoka nje.
Immigration and Citizen Services Secretary Ambassador Julius Bitok led Turkana residents where more than 2,000 trees were planted in the El Khaled Center field in Lodwar town. Bitok noted that Turkana is one of the dry counties that have been mostly affected by drought, and the government agenda will help curb this pandemic.
For Turkana it is very important because when we plant more trees, we shall be able to get more water, we get more grassland for our animals, we get more better environment, so that those trees will help us actually reduce conflict with our neighbors. It will help us have more water, grazing land for animals, and that by a large extent will even bring peace.
The scenes were similar in West Pokot County, leaders leading residents in the journey to 15 billion trees.
Rais wetu ambaye ndio party leader wa UDA alitembea na manifesto yake akisema kwamba ni lazima akichaguliwa atatimiza hiyo manifesto. Na baadhi ya vitu ambazo zilikuwa kwa hiyo manifesto ilikuwa kwamba atapanda miti bilioni 15 kwa miaka 10. Na ni muhimu sisi kama chama tuweze fuatilia zile promises ambazo rais alikuwa amesema during campaign.
Today, planted over 10,000 trees at Machakos County at the Open University of Kenya, where the Vice Chancellor Professor Elijah Umwega said this was the beginning of a major project that will turn the entire Technopolis grounds green.
We have already planted 10,000 trees with a team of people from the Open University, the Konza Technopolis themselves, and partners from the Rotarian Club of Karen. They say in Kiswahili, mwenda pole hajikwai. We also know that slow by slow we're able to get the measure done.
And finally, Engapuno Cowboy Park, Kajiado, in conjunction with Stephen Leto Foundation and Lookuptv, had a great day today this afternoon in planting of trees in Kajiado County, being one of the counties that is highly affected by drought, saying it is a great initiative in saving the environment.
planting a tree. Let's save our environment. It's important.
Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Can clearly see our very own Faith Mutambi trying to dig and plant some trees. Very big thank you and kudos to you for engaging in the tree planting day. And by the way, the tree planting exercise happened even as various stakeholders, or rather non-governmental organizations led by Operation Linda Gatuzi, questioned the need for the cabinet secretaries to be deployed across the country, citing the cost of the fueling and of course transportation of all those officials and the trees, insisting that they would have used provincial leadership as opposed to, of course, using the CSS to lead the event across the country. Now, on that particular note, we take a short breather. We'll be back with more stories on this bulletin. Don't go away.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Mwezi huu Loto inasherehekea 8 years of making millionaires. Chota mihela na Loto, 32 days of celebrations. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 8 guaranteed millionaires this month. Na zaidi ya washindi 80,000 kila wiki. Chota 1 million every hour. 80 bonus shopping vouchers daily and 200 million ndani ya Grand Mega Draw. Changamka, sherehekea na Loto. Ingia M-Pesa Paybill 777-000. Account name Look. Amount shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000 na uchote mihela na Loto.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Changamka, cheza Loto.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Your #1 show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's continue the bulletin. And 46 people have so far died across the country due to the ongoing heavy rains that has caused floods and displacement. Nigeria's CS Kpa Kindiki has called for caution and adherence to directives issued by security officers on areas prone to flooding and landslides to avert incidents during this El Nino period.
As floods continue to pound different parts of the country, Kenyans have been called upon to move to higher grounds. The rains, which have led to destruction of property and loss of life, have been causing havoc since they began 2 weeks ago. Roads have been rendered impassable, homes flooded, and sadly, lives lost as a result.
We have lost 46 people because of drowning, because of floods, and we don't want any single Kenyan to lose their life. Take caution. Evacuate. When our officers tell you to evacuate from flooded areas, from areas which are prone to landslide in other parts of the country, comply. And if you don't comply, we will force you to comply so that we can save your lives.
Interior CS Kpa Kindiki called for caution and adherence to directives issued by security officers on areas prone to flooding and landslides to avert accidents during this El Nino period.
Tunaendelea kuonya watu wetu wasiingiliane sana na maji. Maji ni hatari. Ukiona mvua, ukiona msongamano wa maji, kaa mahali huko mpaka upate msaada. Usijiingize kwa mto ama mafuriko ya maji, kwa sababu hata inchi moja ya maji ambayo inatembea iko na nguvu kiasi na inaweza kusababisha maafa. Na niseme katika taifa letu la Kenya tayari tumepoteza watu 46 kwa sababu ya mafuriko katika sehemu nyingi, sehemu mbalimbali katika nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Kindiki assured that the government has collaborated with various key stakeholders, including county governments and non-governmental organizations, to help Kenyans.
Hii mvua ambayo inatusaidia tupande na tukuze miti, vile vile imekuja na mambo ya IDPs. Na mimi nataka niseme ya kwamba serikali inatambua kuna wananchi ambao wametolewa makwao kwa sababu ya mafuriko. Tumeshirikiana na washikadau wakiwemo wenzetu kutoka shirika la Msalaba Mwekundu kuhakikisha kwamba chakula ya kutosha imekuja hapa, na mimi naunga mkono mambo ambayo gavana wetu Excellency Nadhif Jama amesema. Serikali kuu itaunga mkono serikali ya county, ile chakula ambayo iko hapa ndio ifikie wananchi mahali wapo. I want to assure you, no Kenyan will die because of displacement, because of floods, and we in partnership with county government and the Red Cross and other organizations will make sure that food reaches our people wherever they are.
Kindiki was speaking during a tree planting drive in northern Kenya, where he also promised to deal with the insecurity issues which has been a problem for Kenyans.
Now moving forward, Azimio One Kenya party leader, that is Raila Odinga, has challenged President William RUTO to look for alternative means of generating revenue for development in the country instead of taxing Kenyans. Odinga accused President RUTO of frustrating poor Kenyans with taxes, saying taxation is not a remedy for solving the development needs of Kenyans. The former premier was speaking in Homa Bay County during the ODM recruitment drive, where he also engaged in tree planting activities as the country marked Tree Planting Day.
ODM leader Raila Odinga led the ODM registration drive in Homa Bay. It is in this exercise that the former Prime Minister aimed his gun at the government for the rising cost of living and taxes.
You cannot build an economy through taxation. You cannot build an economy through over-taxation of the poor. That's how not to do it. To stimulate a stagnating economy, to stimulate an economy that is under recession, you need to put money in the people's pockets. You need to introduce programs like Kazi Mtaani, Kazi kwa vijana, so that money is put in the pocket of the youth.
I want to extend an invitation to William RUTO to come to Homa Bay
to come and visit Gladys Wanga so that he can learn how you can raise revenue without raising taxes. I want William Ruto.
The opposition leader said Kenyans are already overwhelmed by the high cost of living, yet the Kenya Kwanza administration had kept imposing taxes on them now and again.
Every child born in our country should have a right to food, right to shelter, right to education, and right to quality health, and right to employment. We want to show that it can be done. We know how to organize an economy. We know how to organize and run a growing economy that will be able to offer employment for all the youth of our country.
Odinga said families can no longer meet their daily needs due to the increased taxation on basic commodities. Odinga accused Ruto of failing in his role of reducing the cost of living for Kenyans. Instead, he urged Ruto to revive job opportunities like Kazi kwa Vijana and Kazi Mtaani to enhance circulation of money in the country. Odinga was speaking on Monday when he launched an ODM party registration drive to counter infiltration of UDA party in his Nyanda stronghold. The former Prime Minister also planted a tree after he launched the NGCDF offices in the county. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv.
On to education matters now. On the Kenya National Examination Council has questioned candidates sitting for their KCSE exams to be cautious of fake exam papers being circulated in various social media platforms. NEC Chief Executive Officer, that is Dr. David Njerege, has confirmed that the examination papers being circulated on social media are not genuine and only meant to deceive those sitting for KCSE. He said the new guidelines which were put in place are working well, adding that this year the council is determined, to conduct exams in a manner that will guarantee credible results.
Kenya National Examination Council, NEC, through its CEO, have cautioned candidates sitting for their KCSE examinations to be cautious of fake exam papers being circulated in various social media platforms.
There is no single genuine paper that can circulate on those social media platforms. What they're having there is fake papers. What they do, as the PS explained last week, like now the first paper will start at 8. So some of those social media fellows, they will collude with somebody somewhere and they will look for an image of that paper which is being done. They will try to share it on Telegram.
David Njegere has claimed the guidelines which were put in place are working well, saying that this year, NEC is determined to conduct credible national examination, revealing more than 46 cases of malpractices being reported. PS Belio Kipsang have defended that these have no significant effect of tainting the exam integrity.
Fortunately, we are working with the Ministry of ICT and all those cases have been neutered. So there is no effect even on social media.
We are the people who've been given an opportunity to co-create our young ones. And whatever it is that we allow them to do, if we allow them and facilitate them to do the wrong things, then that is how we shall grow them. Many of us are very happy in the measures that have been taken, because what they tell me is that this is the time when we have an equal opportunity to showcase our work, to showcase what we've been doing with these children for the last 4 years.
The CEO said various measures have been employed to ensure schools in areas affected by ongoing heavy rains get the examination papers on time.
We have deployed adequate helicopters to that place, even parts of Kitui, Mutito especially, and we have deployed helicopters even this morning to make sure that there is no delay in the administration of the examination.
On his end, Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang has justified the purity of the ongoing exams, claiming that
so far we have run a real clean race. And you know, in marathon, once you have started a marathon, it is so difficult for anybody to introduce anything along the way. It is so difficult. So since we are already midway the marathon, I'm sure we shall complete this marathon as clean as we have done so far. First week ended without any paper being exposed earlier than time that it was expected to be released to students. And I would want to thank the principals, the center managers most sincerely.
Ruga Ival, Lookuptv.
Still on matters education, and Basic Education Principal Secretary, that is Dr. Belia Kipsang, has affirmed the junior secondary schools will be domiciled in primary schools as it has been. Speaking while supervising the distribution of KCSE exams in Kisumu, the PS has stated that the government will push for sharing of resources such as laboratories between JSS and day secondary schools that are adjacent to each other.
Months after its rolling out, the education sector continues to embrace the new competence-based curriculum after the scrapping of the 844 system, with the junior secondary school students continuing with their studies at their respective primary schools.
Quite a number of things that the Presidential Working Party recommended to us, and as soon as we are through the sessional paper, there will be a number of legislations that will be amended. There may be one or two new ones so that it can assist us in implementing the Presidential Working Party.
Despite stakeholders raising various concerns with the JSS students being domiciled in their primary schools, top among them being congestion, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belia Kipsang maintains that the students will still remain domiciled in their primary schools as the government sets aside funds for improvement of infrastructure.
The junior school is domiciled in our current primary schools, and we shall continue to consolidate them. We are putting in some resources together with the CDF to ensure that we have adequate classrooms in grade 9 in 2025 in our current primary schools where junior school is domiciled. We are also working with CDF and other partners to ensure that we have integrated resource centers which will be useful for us in our sciences.
The PS also announced that the JSS students will use facilities like laboratories of nearby secondary schools as the government continues to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party.
We are encouraging ourselves that let's share the facilities that we have. If there is a junior school next to your high school, you can share with them some of your facilities so that they can be able to move forward. But once again, as I said, the Presidential Working Party guided us that we domicile the junior school in our primary schools, and that is what we have done.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Remember, apart from congestion, the other problem facing the JSS is the shortage of teachers. That is despite the government hiring at least 56,000 teachers. Now, on that note, we take our second breather. Don't go away, because we'll be back in a moment.
Jaza mfuko na chapa kila nusu saa. Cheza tatua tatu na 10 bob tu na ushinde jaza bonus ya 10,000 Kenya shillings kila siku. Istoshe, ukicheza na 70 bob au zaidi, utakamua guaranteed bonus ya shilingi 5,000 dakika 30 zijazo. Si hayo tu, jaza keja na home makeover. Jaza parking yako na a brand new tuk-tuk au pikipiki. Hapa ni kujaza na tatua. Nenda kwa M-Pesa, chagua paybill number 150 chagua namba zako tatu za bahati kati ya 0 na 9 ukifuatanisha na neno Lookuptv. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1,000 na ujaze mfuko na chapa kila nusu saa.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
So the story we're telling today is a story of passion in practice that grows into business.
We have partnered with the Youth Fund, talk to as many youth as possible and work with them, hold their hand.
It is an expose of captains who have decided to take on challenges in different sectors and industries within the country.
My mentors had also not started as CEOs. They grew up and they showed me how they grew in the organizations. So that's what motivated me to actually do international business. And it was a good experience.
As an individual, support in bridging that care gap, part of me also to offer a solution. I want to leave this world a better place than I found it.
This is the Captain's Arena. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage.
Welcome back to the program. On to a sad story now, and police officers in Kakamega County are holding a woman for allegedly strangling her 2-month-old daughter and dumping her body in a pit latrine around a lit area in the outskirts of Kakamega town. And the suspect, that is Flavin Ayanga, aged 23, is reported to have had constant wrangles with her husband, who is a boda operator in the town, before she resorted to killing her own child.
Mkabana, mtoto mwenye amekufa hapo ni mtoto wa ndugu yangu. Niko na uchungu sana. Mwenye ameua mtoto ni shemeji yangu.
They are gathered here to mourn the death of a young child whose life was cut short by the biological mother and the body thrown into a pit latrine. Flavia Nayanga's decision to end the life of her child is perplexing, leaving the villagers in utter shock.
Toka kwenye alitoka, hatujui kama alikuwa na mtoto ama hapana. Sasa kumbe huyu msichana ako na bwana Ikonyero huko, kijana wa tuktuk. Alikuwa anatoka, wakati alitoka kwa nyumba hapa, akaenda kwa mwanaume huko Ikonyero. Na kumbe alikuwa ameua mtoto, na kumbe ametupa kwa choo hapa na sisi hatujui. Akasema mtoto alikufa, lakini sasa nimemweka tu huko nyumbani kwa choo.
What drew their curiosity is that Flavian was seen without the child in the evening, leading to the villagers to be concerned. Further questioning and investigations led them to pit latrine, where they removed the body from the latrine and handed it over to the police, who moved it to Kakamega morgue for an autopsy.
Yeye walikuwa wameshatupa ndani hako, hana nguo, walitupa nyenda zimekula, tukafunga na waya, tukatoa mtoto ndani.
Mwili imekaka, imeoza kiasi, madudu zimekula.
The in-laws say Flavian's family attempted to swipe the issue under the carpet by trying to convince the residents and the deceased paternal family not to give information to the police, but instead have the issue resolved at home.
Kwa hivyo ni kama alinyonga mtoto juu anasema kitu saa 1 kamili alitoka na mtoto. Vile walimemuoji wenye walienda huko, wanasema alikuja na mtoto. Anasema wakati alienda kwa duka, akitoka huko alipata mtoto amezimia kwa kiti. Kwa hivyo bila mtoto alikuwa amezimia kwa kiti, akashindwa nifanye nini. Akachukua mtoto akatembea naye polepole, akaenda hapo nyuma. Hivyo ndio alikuwa anaeleza. Kwa hivyo kuenda hapo nyuma, nikidhani ndiye alichukua nafasi akafinyilia mtoto wapi? Ndani ya choo.
Regan Lemeguran, Lookuptv.
Kadashateza kama lieli. Angaje tu bila alikuwa ameenda akaye tu, sisi tubaki na nini? Na mtoto. Huyu ni mtoto, ni mchuku wangu. Ni mchuku wangu. Sisi tungalea nini? Mtoto.
Now moving forward, fishermen in Lake Naivasha are calling for the urgent restocking of fingerlings in the water body to address the sharp decline in fish. Now they noted that the drop in fish had affected hundreds of families directly and indirectly, forcing some of the fishermen to relocate to other water bodies.
Fishermen in Naivasha have their hopes dwindling after their livelihoods started facing threats following a reduction in fish in Lake Naivasha that has forced most of them to move to Lake Nakuru. They are now calling for restocking fingerlings in the lake to save them. They have challenged the county and national government to come to the rescue of the fishermen to avoid them from going back to Lake Nakuru.
Tumeumia kwa miaka 2 tukingoja, tukijaribu kila mbinu yote ya kotini ya wapi, lakini tulikuwa tumeshindwa.
Tupende serikali itutolee msaada kwa hiyo hasara tumeenda ya miaka 2, kwa sababu iko kwenda kwetu ilikuwa mapenzi yani ya kutafuta hustling, kujilea wenyewe. Hiyo boti moja inasaidia watu kama 1000. Sasa ukiangalia boti 150 zote zimeshikwa, unaweza angalia watu wote wenye wala njaa, ni hasara tu. Tungeomba msaada kwa serikali tukumbuke, na bado tuongezee mbegu kwa Lake Naivasha ndio tusiame tena. Masuala tungetaka serikali tuangalilie. Hii lake tunataka iongezwe samaki, mbegu. Serikali itoe mbegu, itoe samaki bali itatoa ituongezee mbegu, kwa sababu yenyewe ile Lake Naivasha inasaidia karibu milioni 7 ya watu. Na most biashara yenye inashika huku sana ni ya samaki.
The fishermen spoke as they received back the 150 boats and their engines which had been taken.
Tunashukuru sana kwa hao. Ile kazi wametufanyia tunashukuru. Nafikiri vile mnaona hapa boti zimefika na zingine ziko kwa njia na malori zinaendelea na kukuja, na tumefurahi zaidi kwamba hiyo shughuli imetukosti pesa mingi, lakini tunashukuru mara ya mwisho sasa tumebahatika na tumepata mali yetu. Lakini sasa tunashukuru kwamba wakati huu tumeweza kufaulu kupitia kwa mheshimiwa wetu Jane Kihara na His Excellency Vice President wetu Kachagua. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru zaidi.
Winlight Chapruha, Lookuptv.
Let's focus now on matters health, and West Pokot County Community Health Promoters get a boost to carry out their function in the community after Health Cabinet Secretary, that is Susan Nakumisha, distributed over 24,000 phones to the CHPs to help them carry out their mandate with ease. Now, during a recent visit to the health facilities, she delivered essential health equipment as a fulfillment of one of her commitments to the county.
Health, an important aspect in Kenya and one of President William Ruto's agenda to ensure the country has access to universal health coverage. As a step in that direction, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumisha, along with the Principal Secretary State Department for Public Health Mary Muthoni, have distributed more than 2,400 funds to community health promoters in West Pokot County. Nakumisha said that the main objective of the distribution of those funds is to ensure that every patient's information is properly registered and it is easy to check the health progress. She further added that the Kenya Kwanza government will ensure that health services are available to every Kenyan.
Tuko na 100,000 community health promoters. Hapa West Pokot County tuko na 2,423 community health promoters. Tulishawafanyia training, tumewapatia kits. Sasa leo nimekuja kuhandover smartphones. Sababu tumesema kazi yao sasa ikuwe rahisi, ikuwe digitized. Wakiingia kwa homestead wanachukua details za hiyo homestead kupitia kwa hizi digital phones ambazo tumewapatia leo, na tumeleta the total amount of 2,423 to ensure kila community health promoter ako na hiyo smartphone ili akaweze kufanya kazi yake kwa urahisi.
West Pokot County Governor Simon Kachapin said that the county government supports all national government policies so that the health issues can be strengthened. He further added that West Pokot County was isolated, but such programs will promote good relationship between the two governments.
Lengo ya yeye kuja leo ni kuja kupongeza watu wa CHPs smartphones ambaye itawasaidia kufanya kazi yao kuliko kubebana na zile mzigo ya vitabu. Na nimefurahi sana kukaribisha waziri hapa na PS wake, kwa sababu hawa CHPs wanafanya kazi mzuri. Tunashukuru pia serikali kuu kwa sababu ya kits ambapo wamepatia CHPs wote wa West Pokot. Na leo pia ameleta hizi smartphones ambaye mumeona vile umepokea na umefurahi sana kwa sababu kazi yao sasa itakuwa rahisi.
Ebi Kadenyi, Lookuptv.
Now, Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale has attacked Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for alleged meddling with Western politics. Speaking on Monday during the nationwide tree planting exercise in Kakamega County, the senator warned the DP against interfering with the sugar sector, which many residents from the region depend on.
Kwanza huyo Deputy President ameingia na kasumba kwa kichwa yake. And because he's a Deputy President, yeye ndiye anapanga Rutoto, sijui Malala, sijui Kawaya kule nini, sijui Omar Hassan Mombasa, ajinende ni kusukume Luya Land na wewe Ukambani ndio ufuruke senior politicians kwa hiyo area ndio 2032 ikifika hawa senior wasinisiwie mimi deputy president. Listen to me, whether you like it or not, in 2032 wakati uliona Uhuru akatoka na Ruto akaingia, safari Ruto anatoka na Muluya anafanya nini? It has to be clear. Nobody at the national level or at the county level is going to play cheap politics on us. Because na masomo international kumera deputy president. Nikali ni uzoefu wa siasa. Yenze niko na experience of politics 4 times more than the deputy president. He must respect our community. We are not a small community. We are a community of 7 million people.
Now, Kenya's technological ecosystem has a major gender gap problem. Gender diversity is a major problem with the sector being dominated by men. However, despite these yawning gender gaps, some female tech professionals continue to rise, impacting the industry remarkably. Tonight, Branham Wire looks at the strides girls are taking to fit perfectly into the male-dominated industry of sciences and technology in the feature Breaking the Binary.
Tech is in everything, medicine, engineering, even in the TV and radio, it's everywhere.
Data and technology runs the world. It is the future. And at the center of all the revolution is women and girls. Code by code, they are breaking barriers, seeking to reduce the gender-digital divide. History is being written in the 21st century, and women this time round are on the decision-making table, standing up to be counted, holding the future in their hands.
I do software engineering, power platform development.
I'm a data scientist because I've always loved math growing up, and I've always been very interested in tech stuff, like learning how things work. So I feel like data science brings them both together because you get to code and you get to do the math.
Part-time job was data entry, and I fell in love with data.
Technology is taking the world by storm, with governments eager to tap into the latest innovation to drive their countries forward. With new innovations every other day, one thing still remains a challenge: the digital gender divide. And though through a microscope, the efforts of women to take center stage are being magnified as they fight for an equal playing field by breaking one binary at a time. Only 23% of sub-Saharan Africa's tech industry is composed of women. Less than 10% of female students pursue STEM-related fields. A 2021 study titled Kenya's Digital Economy, A People's Perspective, shows that only 35% of women are found to be able to use advanced digital services, despite the country being ranked among the leading lights in broadband connectivity in Africa. However, a new dawn is beckoning. Meet young minds who are defying stereotypes and shattering glass ceilings. These girls are the driving force behind a movement that is changing the narrative. From coding to data analysis, these girls are showing the world that they belong in the tech and sciences. Daisy, a geospatial engineering student at the University of Nairobi, has a future cut out for her in the technology space.
So in everything that you do, you need a community behind you. And in the software engineering space, the bugs that you get, the challenges that you have, the people who you'll meet at events, they're all from this community. What I do in my community is I am a champion. I champion for community events, for hackathons, boot camps, and I try as much to support communities, even outside the tech roles that I do here.
Getting in the tech space for her, like many other women, was no mean feat, but she was influenced by a woman in the field.
So there was a dinner at Strathmore. It was celebrating women in tech for International Women's Day. They are listening to the stories by these amazing women who are just like me, who are very young, and they've done incredible things, and they face the same challenges I'm facing. So there's nothing that's too different between them and me. So everything that just shows how it's very possible to get to where they are.
Do you see a politician?
Women in data is a field that Philomena Mbura wants to rule as a data analyst.
I didn't even know there's a field called data science. So I got into tech through a program called GADS. It's Google Africa Developer Scholarship. And then now through that program, I got to do Android development. And then now I got into the tech community. I was interacting with one of the HRs, and then she she asked me about my background and all those things, and then she told me you should look into people analytics. So people analytics is basically data analytics now in HR. Then now when I went into people analytics, I started looking at online courses, and then I went into data. Then I was like, oh, this is interesting. That's when now I pivoted fully to data.
Philomena has been organizing workshops for women in data. Her mission is to bridge the digital divide and encourage more women and girls to take up their rightful space.
Tech is generally male-dominated, and so I've always felt that gap even when I'm either working in a team or when I attend community events. I remember my first event to attend, I was the only lady. The other lady was one of the organizers, and it was a room full of men. So at that point you're like, okay, maybe there is a problem here. So the more I attended events is when I saw like there is that gap, and then that's when now I made the intentional efforts to reaching out to actually not even women locally. I went on Google and searched for like communities outside there that are doing that, and then I partnered with them to come and bring it here.
And as they take to the podium with their heads high to demonstrate to others as their hands dance across keyboards, lines of code transform into bridges of opportunity. Every key they press creates a bridge for others to use in crossing over to the world of tech and sciences. These girls are not just future tech leaders, they are the architects of a brighter, more inclusive digital future.
It's data that informs policy. So yeah, let me be the person here at the bottom helping to feed the national policy, the huge one, because it's this data that will show you, hey, you need to change this. This is not us, this is what the data shows.
I get a lot of satisfaction from seeing people's lives changing positively. I personally got into tech through community, like I mentioned before, so I know what it did for me, and I can only hope that I can be able to create a space where it does that for others as well.
The team and I, we came up with an application. It's called Mama Nafuu application, where it enables mothers to connect with everything that they need, literally in the reach of their hands. So on the app, they can schedule their appointments. They can also order for medicine.
Their story is inspirational. Dreams that started when they were young and were cultivated by those around them.
Actually, largely, my mentors have been men in the industry. Yeah, actually, they have been very supportive. I have met a lot of men who have literally held my hand.
My parents are very supportive. They are very supportive. I feel as much as they might not completely understand 100% what it is I'm doing, they don't completely understand, but they show support in every single way that they can. My mom, she's always praying for me. Before the events that I'm hosting, before I have a speaker session, she prays for me.
The journey to get into the field has its fair share of challenges.
There's number one, the bias that's already been there for quite a long time. I've experienced it at different capacities. Sometimes you meet somebody and they tell you maybe, oh, you're a woman and you're doing this. And you feel like it's a very backward thing, but imagine if that person is a recruiter somewhere or a boss somewhere and you're going into that interview as a woman. If they still have that mentality, then of course there's going to be that bias that comes with it.
Generally, anyone, if you start a data career with someone you left school with, like right now we're in the same trajectory, but 2 years down the line or 4 years down the line, you see my male counterparties earning more than me.
In 2017, studies revealed that there were 21,400 professional women employed in the science and technical fields, with their male counterparts being more than double at 52,400 professionals. These numbers reveal a stark gender disparity, a digital divide that threatens to limit Kenya and Africa's potential in the global tech arena.
I'm also trying to get more women into the tech space and into the communities that I'm in by actively going to a particular woman and like, this will be good.
With each line of code and every hackathon and event they organize, these girls are proving that they are more than numbers. They are the embodiment of innovation, strength, and the boundless potential of the nation.
We have a hackathon next week, our first event, and it's amazing.
Daisy's event was a success, and just one more step to the future she desires. What should be done to bridge the gender digital divide? IHUB's community manager William Kalibo is on the forefront of an organization that is creating space for women to explore their full potential.
We regularly host female communities, such as the Women in Data community, meetups here at iHub, the Women Tech Makers, which is an initiative under the Google developer groups, where these women who are either in university who have just finished come together to just like learn various topics around software engineering, just like learn from a peer-to-peer element. So
equality and the other one, and equity, yes. So of course you need to recognize that the specific challenges that come with being a woman, and companies and the people around should be able to address them such that you're never on the same level as your peer. Even me as a woman and another woman, we're not going to be on the same level, but different companies and the different societies that we're around should be able to like bring that balance about, such that we're able to perform at our highest capacity at work and even outside of work.
In August 2023, the government revealed plans to scale up the Ajira Digital program with a focus on more women in an effort to bridge the digital gender divide. The new approach, which includes the inclusion of Ajira for She apprenticeship, which is a new program specifically for women, is aimed at bridging the gender digital divide. The Ajira program has seen over 350,000 young people imparted with digital skills, with 53% of them being young women. The future for them is promising, and they are not stopping anytime soon.
Who do you look at and say, wow, that is what drives me sometimes?
Okay, it's 3 ladies, and then it's, have you watched Hidden Figures? Yes, those 3 ladies. I've watched that movie a million times. I even watched it this weekend, like I think like 2 days ago. So just when we were getting into Mashuja's period, and I was like, which movie can I watch? I watch Hidden Figures again. I really find it inspiring, and I find them inspiring. I've watched their documentaries as well, just to hear about their stories, and I feel like they really paved the way for us to be here.
And as the sun sets on the Nairobi skyline, it gives them an opportunity to dream even more. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv.
Quite an informative feature story there by Brian Amwai, and it is quite refreshing to see that women are trying to break the barrier and daring to venture into fields that are male-dominated. Now, that particular story, breaking the binary, brings us to the end of this particular bulletin. Many thanks for making time to be with us tonight. To my producer, Brian Amwai, many thanks for making this happen. To everybody behind these scenes, that is led by Jeremy, our producer, Alvin, Mike here in studio, together with a sign language interpreter, Josephine Uko. Thank you very much. You can visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke just to get an overview of stories continuing to make headlines across the country. But until tomorrow, do have yourself a lovely night, and like always, God bless.